It's another sunny day in Sisters Country, and we're going to take full advantage of that. I've been already out. I've been to the pool, down in the pool twice. I today went for an early morning walk just to get the blood flowing so I could come back in the beehive and have some fun. Yesterday, my girlfriend Kathleen and I played tourists, and we walked all around Sisters so that we could check out what some of you are going to see when you come for the Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show. With that said, I am going to have a meet and greet for any of you who are coming to the Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show, and I'll keep reminding everybody and putting details out. But a friend of mine opened a coffee shop in Sisters. It's called Fika, and it's about 3 blocks. Now I should have asked G which side, but it's on, that's not my side of town, on the other side, the industrial side of town. So I will have more details on how to get there, but it's, I walked there, you know, it's about, I would say maybe a little between a half-mile walk from my house to there. It's only like 3 big blocks from the main street, and it's a lovely place. And so I thought on Quilt Show Day I would have a meet and greet there around noontime. Everybody will be hot and tired. So I'll put details out. If you come to the quilt show, you may want to park on that side of Cascade, because then it'll be easier to get out. It's located directly on the detour road through town, so that's going to be an easy spot for us to all meet. And I am so looking forward to meeting some of you who have written and that are intending to visit the show. It's going to be fabulous. Well, while we played tourist yesterday, walking around in and out of all the shops, and they are all gearing up for all of you that are coming. This coming weekend is rodeo weekend. You might see this video just after rodeo weekend, but already I've seen huge trailers coming in, bringing livestock and cowboys into town. Our rodeo here in Sisters is one of the, what they would call like the Big 10 rodeos. They're the qualifiers for the National Rodeo in Las Vegas. So it's a big deal. Rodeo's a big deal around here. And people are starting to pour into town already. As we walked around town, we stopped at a couple shops. And this one shop is a new shop that, wow, I loved. It's called the Painted Lady Antiques. It's right in the middle of town, and you can't miss it. But I got this frame for one of my stitcheries. Isn't it cute? And this, I know there's going to be some girlfriends out there that are going to have a field day with this. This is an antique pincushion. Do you see that? It's shaped like one of those forms, those dress forms, and it has a little thimble on top and a little tape measure on the bottom. Is that not just adorable? And it has the original pin sticking around in it. That is so cute. I'm going to set that around the beehive. And then we went to Fika and had lunch. So I can't wait to see you guys there on Quilt Show Day. Well, I have a hodgepodge of things going on in the beehive. I was asked by Valerie Wells and the Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show to make an auction basket filled with little goodies in it. And so I decided I wanted to put a couple of handmade items in my basket, because that's what I'm all about. And so today I'm going to make pin cushions out of selvage. And I don't know about you, but I am a selvage collector. And the thing about selvage collecting, and I'll admit this to you, I have actually bought fabric, not because of the fabric, but because of the selvage, because fabric manufacturers are getting smarter. They're making cute selvage. And so I have bought and I save it. But the thing about saving selvage is when you cut the selvage off to make a quilt, you want it to be at least 1.5 inches, 1 inch to 1.5 inches, so that you have some of the color of the fabric, and then the selvage, which is the writing and the little cute things that they now put on there. Like this one is Find Joy in the Simple Things, and it has little bees all along it. So I have a selvage box, I admit it. I just think that is so cool. And then I'm going to make a couple of pillowcases to go in my basket. That might be the next video, but look at this. Look at this fabric for my pillowcases. Because I'm the beehive and I'm the woolly, all wrapped into one. So I have that project to do. But today is Pincushion Salvage Day. So what I've done is I've decided on my pincushion size, and I thought I'd start with a 6.5 inch square. And this fabric here is not going to show, so it's just a scrap piece of fabric. And because I'm addicted to SF 101, it's a Pellon product, which is a fusible interfacing, I put that on to give this a little bit. It might end up being a little more challenging turning it inside out, but I wanted my pincushion to be sturdy. So that's what I've done. I've cut out a 6.5 inch square. Nothing's going to show on this because the selvage is going to go on there. And then I've ironed my selvage because you don't want to struggle with sewing it. And so I have different selvages, and I've picked out my pieces. And what I'm doing is I am going to cut it, the pieces, 6.5 inch. And I'm picking the part of the selvage that I like, and I'm laying it on top of my 6.5 inch square, and then I'm going to just cut that off so that I have that. And then I'm just going to do a line sewing just to attach it on one side. So on this one, I could do this. I could actually rotary cut this, but that's okay. So I don't have to keep getting up. So I've put that piece on the upper edge of my square. And now I'm just going to run a stitch along that top to attach it to this piece. I'd have to save this for another one. That's a nice size piece. So next I'm putting on the next piece, and I want to kind of move this selvage around so I get the writing and the print that I want, and I'm going to stick it right underneath the first one. So I can kind of center it. The second one is called Night Hike. It's a Windham fabric. And I'm going to cut this end off. And so I'm leaving a little bit of the print, and then then the selvage, the writing. And I'm going to stitch just a hair on the first fabric to hold them both down. There we go. Now I want a little bit of color. So I think I will go with Valerie Wells. Let's see. And you can kind of audition these different ones where you want them. And I'm going to do the repeat of it. I'm going to just stitch a straight line on the second selvage, holding the second and the third selvage down to the background. So it's catching both of the selvages with each print. So there we go so far. Next one. So with each stitching, the selvage does get stitched at the top and the bottom, and you don't see any of the raw edges because the selvage is finished off in that tight weave. I love this one. This is a Moda fabric, Believe in Yourself, and it has little bees. Oh, I have to save this one for a special pin cushion. This is that John Muir quote. On the selvage, in every walk with nature, one receives far more than he seeks. Oh, that is awesome. Okay, so let's see. I wonder how many of you have a selvage project box in your stash. So there's the front. So now I'm going to just trim it up and cut out the same size for the back. Put some SF101 on it and sew around the edge and turn it inside out. So stay tuned. So I'm ready to sew my front and my back together. What I did was I put the SF101 on my backing, and then I made a little label and I sewed that on, and it just says made by Anna Quilt Roadies. And now I'm going to put right sides together and kind of pin the four corners. And I'm going to start stitching from where I want the opening to be. And I'm going to make that a 1/4 inch seam. And I'm going to make it a little tighter on the stitches. And when I start off, I'm going to backstitch just to hold that starting point, the starting and ending point. So there I go. And I have to tell you, I do tend to backstitch on the corners to give them a little strength when I'm turning it inside out. Okay, now for the turning inside out. This is always like a challenge, but the first thing I'm going to do is just nip off the dog ears on the corner. That, okay. And I tend to just start on one corner and just kind of gently. And because I use the SF101, because I want it to be a little sturdier, it takes a little more to get it inside out, but I always can get it inside out. I did it. The pincushion will not win over me. Okay. Now the opening is at the bottom. Using a little chopstick to kind of get it more towards the corners. So now to stuff it. And I'm not going to put lavender in it because although I love lavender, there's a lot of people that don't or are allergic. It's one of the few flowers I'm not allergic to. And so I'm going to do a combination of walnut shells and polyester batting. So that will be coming next. I'm using a combination of polyester and walnut shells, which I keep around here for making these pin cushions. Little funnel, stick it in there and hold it. And then I'm just gonna make sure it gets down in there. The walnut shells gives it some kind of a little bit of heft or weight to it, but you don't want it so heavy that it can be a murder weapon, you know. So I mix the polyester on a bigger pin cushion. I mix the polyester and the walnut shells. So I'm just kind of getting it all down there. And the walnut shells, sharpen your needles as you go in and out of them. Lose my balance here. And then I just I massage it. I massage my pincushion, getting everything down in the corners. I might put a little bit more in there. Let's see if I can get more of that kind of by rolling it up and pushing it down there. Yeah. I'm going to put some more polyester stuffing. This also keeps the walnut shells from spilling out when you're trying to stitch it closed. I think that's good. So now I want to whip stitch that little opening closed. I always go back and stitch it again, just because I know my stitchers are wider apart than a sewing machine would be. And there you have it, a selvage pincushion that will be part of my auction basket for the Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show. Gosh, I really want to keep it myself. Oh well, it's for a good cause, for the music and the arts and sisters. So, I know you can make one. Just start saving that selvage. Make sure it's cut at least 1 inch to 1.5 inches so you get some of the colored fabric, and you can make it any size you want. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I hope I see you at Fika Coffee at the Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show, Quilt Roadies Meet and Greet.
Thanks for watching.
And be sure to like and subscribe on Quilt Roadies.